before I get into this, what's like a trope that you guys hate for like an ending? Like this is the trope of this is the ending.
I think that we've gotten too far into the bad guys are the good guys and the good guys are the bad guys, where like the demons are actually the right ones. Like, you know, some like Paradise Lost fucking interpretation by a person who's stupid. So yeah, I would say probably that's the worst one.
What about you, Emmy? What's like a trope where you're like, oh God, it's this thing again?
Also another one that I hate is whenever they have women in the story.
I hate that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I actually don't really like that trope where it's like someone finds out that they're secretly like this hero, like they were destined to do this thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That?
Yeah. I don't like it either.
I love that.
I like
cheap.
it sometimes, but I don't like it when it feels like out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's like a plot device. Like it's like, why?
Oh, you mean to like when, not start the story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's not even
well, you said like for an ending.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
that wouldn't. There's been times where it's like the middle of the end of the story where it's like this character was actually this important person all along.
Yeah.
Unless it's like something, I don't. It really depends, but most of the time I don't really like that.
I really don't like when you get to the ending and then you find out, oh, it was all just a dream.
Oh well, I didn't even want to say that because I thought everyone hates that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I hate that.
How do you like that?
Well,
yeah, I thought that too, but I didn't even bring it up.
Name me one scenario where you're like, oh, great, I'm so glad this was a dream.
well, it doesn't really matter to me because the story is still told the same way.
Well, okay, well, here's the problem.
It's
right?
like, what's stopping you from waking up right now,
Well, I'm still in a coma.
realizing that you're actually a lizard, and then like your lizard brain was just having a crazy dream, and like you start thinking about gacha games, you stop thinking about like the new house, and you just think about eating flies again. You can't imagine that?
That would be so good.
Exactly.
I wake up, lizard.
So it's not a matter of whether the story trope is bad. It's the way that it's told.
I think the way I really don't like the story trope when it is all just a dream is when it's an extension of the story in a continued series where there's like an OVA for an anime or a story that's like a subplot of the story and it takes you on this whole journey where like characters fucking die and they say, oh, it's just a dream. And then they wake up. There's a show that I know both of y'all like. I'm not even gonna say. One of the arcs is just a dream. And
Wait, what show?
I'm not gonna say. Because it would ruin the season for you. But there's a show that both of y'all watch that y'all like where one of the whole arcs is just, oh yeah, it's just a dream.
Uh-oh.
And I'm just like, okay. Well, that was the biggest
show
waste
that we both watched. That
don't even try to think about it. But just understand that I said this, and when you see it, you'll understand.
Can I ask?
Yeah, later.
Is it?
I'm not gonna say. You gotta ask later. But it's fucking miserable. And it makes me so mad because you go in and all these crazy things fucking happen.
Yeah.
All these fucking people die. And you're like, oh God, the end of the universe. Oh, it's a dream, wasn't it? I'm like, why did we watch this?
I'm going to be real. That's why I didn't like Endgame, Avengers Endgame. I thought it was stupid.
Was it? How? Endgame wasn't a dream.
But it basically had the same function.
Oh, they all got snapped out and they all came back?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree. When a character dies, they need to fucking die. I don't like
in
the
most cases.
Okay, give me a scenario where it's good they come back.
Gandalf.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He died to the big lava golem, and then he came back as Gandalf the White.
Well, actually what happened is so Gandalf fought the guy for 7 days, the Balrog.
Balrog.
He died, and there's only 2 instances of Eru Ilúvatar, who's the god of Lord of the Rings, interfering with the world of Middle-earth or Arda. And the 2 times are number 1, making Gollum trip to fall into Mount Doom, and number 2 was bringing Gandalf back as Gandalf the White. And so he brought him back. Gandalf the White was brought back literally by God.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Did they explain that in the movies or is that book only?
They do, but it's implied. So basically, okay. All right, okay.
Here we go.
So basically, the Balrog and Gandalf are actually the same thing.
How does that work?
So there's a thing, so like all of the spirits, okay.
Yep, here we go.
Did you see Rings of Power?
Nope, fuck no.
Okay,
absolutely
all right,
not.
so Jesus Christ. All right, so this is the way it works, right? So in the beginning, Eru Ilúvatar sings a song and he creates, all life and everything like that with something called flame imperishable. It's a big thing. And so he has, there's like 2 different tiers of like angels, right? There's the Valar and the Maiar, right? The Valar are like Manwë, Morgoth. Like Manwë is the Valar that Gandalf serves as his Maiar form, Olren. And then obviously Morgoth, or Melkor at the time, descends into evil, like going against Eru-Ilúvatar, and he becomes Morgoth. That's the name the elves gave him. And so then basically Morgoth brings a lot of those Maiar spirits to Middle-earth, and those spirits corrupted by the evil turn into Balrogs. Then Eru-Ilúvatar and has the different Valars send over their own spirits, kind of like their own lieutenants, to serve in Middle-earth as like kind of agents to help men overcome the evil of Sauron, who Sauron also is a Maiar spirit. Even though he's extremely powerful, he's like maybe maybe 1 tier above Gandalf, maybe barely 1 above Gandalf the White, probably 2 tiers above Gandalf the Gray.
Okay.
Like this is just like arbitrary power scaling.
For sure,
basically, right?
Yeah.
And so then, so Gandalf, whenever he fights the spirit, that's why he says like servant of Morgoth whenever he's fighting the Balrog. And so basically he gets sent
I always
back.
assumed he was just saying shit.
No. So he's like part of the Astari order, right?
Yeah.
And so you have like obviously the 3, the 3 wizards in like the movies. You have, I think it's Anator and Orlando. I think they were given different names by Tolkien later on in the story. Those are the 2 blue wizards who were in Middle-earth actually longer than the other ones were. But basically, they're all actually angels. They are literal angels that predate the existence of the entire world.
Damn.
And so they're not, and like they're bound by a like pact to not use their magical powers in capacities that are unequal, right? That's why, for example, like Gandalf used magic against the Balrog, but he never did that against anybody else.
Is that true? I swear to God, he used magic somewhere else. Surely.
Not really, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Trying to think.
Like he would use magic to like light an area.
Sure, yeah.
But like he's not using it. Like Gandalf basically, like to any other being in like Middle-earth, Gandalf could like just kill it. Basically, right? Minus like a handful.
What about those wraiths?
Those wraiths? So Gandalf 1v9'd them.
They're called Nazguls, right?
They're called Nazgul, and they were the original 9 kings that were given the rings by Sauron.
Those things scared the shit out of me.
Oh
They were
yeah,
so
I
cool.
hated
They were
those.
so cool.
I love them. They're
awesome.
so cool.
Dude, I remember every time Frodo put on that ring, man, you hear those screeches. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it was so free. It's such a good fucking
awesome.
movie. It's so good. I hate how there's people who say they don't like it who haven't seen it.
Yeah, of
Wait,
course.
really?
Yeah, it's like, bro, then fucking watch it. It's so
Probably
good.
12 years old. Like, what do you expect?
Like, I think I'm being giga hypocritical as well because I think that I would like Star Wars more if I gave it a shot.
Did you never watch any of the Star Wars?
My problem is my brothers really like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to like what you like.
Right.
Frick Star Wars. I watched Dragon Ball Z. That's what cool kids
I
are
mean,
watching.
they are really good movies, but I feel like it's one of those things that like you love it so much because it's been there for you for so long.
Yeah.
So
I went
if you watch-
nope, that's not true.
No,
Like,
no, I
went
said
back,
that
I
they're
watched Lord of the
good.
Rings recently. I watched
Oh
it all
no,
the-
no, I meant Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
Lord of the
'cause
Rings, you can go
some-
back and watch anytime.
Some of the Star Wars movies are like amazing, and some of them are like, that was good.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, here, but
No, but I like Lord of the Rings too, and the Hobbit's like the movies are okay.
I remember we went to see the Lord of the Rings in movie theaters every Christmas. The Hobbit comes out. I told my mom and dad, I'm like, let's go watch it in theaters again for Christmas. And they're like, okay, fine. I look over at my mom in the middle of a battle scene on the Hobbit, and she's like this. She's fucking
No, I remember
passed
I went
out.
to go see. I think it was the first Hobbit with my
Yeah.
dad, and I remember I was watching it, and I was like, I'm enjoying this. I'm entertained, and I think it was during the scene where they were like all like in the river, like they were fighting in the river
That's
or
the
something.
first movie when they're in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
barrels.
And I remember looking over at my dad, and my dad was like,
Yeah.
and I was like,
wasn't
isn't
having
that, he was not happy.
Wow.
what is
Based.
in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit? What is the worst part in the whole series?
I think that it was stupid that they had the dwarf have a love interest with the elf, Tamriel, in The Hobbit. I thought that was stupid.
I think. What about you, Emmy? Have you seen all of it?
Yeah, I have.
The
Now,
worst
I
part.
would, it also
The worst
rings,
part?
Well, Rings of Power would be the worst part.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we ignore that.
Yeah, sure.
That just goes without saying.
The worst part.
Yeah.
I'm
Were you
trying
like,
to
oh,
think
that
through
shit's
like
kinda lame?
the main movies. I mean, there's parts that are like fucking sad or like, but I don't remember any part that I was like, that annoys me.
I think Lord of the Rings itself, the trilogy, was perfect for me. I wouldn't change a thing at all. And I would also always recommend watching the director's cut because it's just way better. The desolation of Smaug fight was such a letdown.
Yeah.
And it built up to that, it built up to that, built up to that. Not only did the fight of
Is
Desolation
that in
of
the
Smaug.
second one?
The second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Desolation of Smaug, the fight didn't even happen. It didn't even finish in the second movie. You had to watch the third movie to see the end of the Desolation of Smaug fight. It was such a letdown. It was just one dude shooting one arrow into like an exposed scale, bro. That shit was so fucking lame. Because Smaug was so cool. When you see him in the Mountain of Treasure, bro, that shit was dope.
Wait, I never read the Hobbit. So was the dwarf and elf love thing not in the books?
No, it was not. It's fake.
Oh, that's annoying.
It's fake fan fiction. It's not real.
Why would they add that?
To make it for modern audiences.
I think sometimes adding in love interest works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like for a classic, it's like,
well, it's the problem is like, for example, Albedo in Overlord.
Yep.
So like Albedo.
Yeah,
was,
I mean, but I feel like that's so different because like,
it is. That's the point.
The audience
right?
is different too.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I also had no idea that wasn't in the original. That Albedo was a love interest.
Yep. Well, she just didn't even exist, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like there were a number of things like kind of that were like I would have wanted to see certain scenes in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, but like other than that,
like what?
Well, so I think that Gandalf actually like basically 1v1s or at least like intimidates the Witch King of Agmar at the gates of breaking into Minas Tirith. And I think that would have been fucking awesome to see that, right? Because like nobody really knew like how powerful Gandalf was or anything like that. And so that would be really cool to see
it was
that
cool.
happen.
It was cool now that I think, because the way that you're bringing it up, it is cool because I always thought Gandalf was like the strongest, but he didn't really do anything.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
Ever.
He didn't need to. Yeah,
he's just
well,
the man.
like he also even had a, so this is again, deep lore, is that one of the rings that was given to Gandalf by the elves is actually a ring that's supposed to make everybody else around them inspired. And so like basically, and that they even covered that in the books. And so that's kind of like his job. He's trying to like inspire the races of Middle Earth to be able to resist Sauron's influence on their own. And like
That's
this is
so
again,
sick.
yeah. Well, it's also like just like a big metaphor, I think, in a lot of cases to, you know, like Christianity, right? And Catholicism.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
What
it's
other
huge.
series? What other series do you like as much as Lord of the Rings?
As much?
Yeah, nothing.
No, nothing.
Yeah,
But
it's
there are
somewhat
things
good.
that are below that, but I really like a lot. Like I know a lot of lore for a lot of the different like worlds and stuff like that. Same with like history and stuff.
What was the coolest war in real life?
In my opinion, World War I.